Okay, I know I said that the last video was probably going to be the last one, but, yeah, I didn't expect there to be actual rumors regarding Corey Perry, of all people, and where he's going to end up next. I know we had said that it was very well possible, and probably the more likely outcome, that Corey Perry, former Blackhawks player, will end off the season of 23-24 with some other NHL team. Because we know that at the end of the day, even though some players do bad things, as long as they tossed out an apology out there, which I'll admit, I'll stand by and I'll say, yeah, I actually thought the apology was a good one, as long as there is contrition there, it's a very fair conclusion to say that NHL teams are going to jump at the chance to get a guy who was on pace for about 40 points this season for cheap. So let's talk about one of the big rumors that has started up here, starting out with an article on theprovince.com by Jim Matheson earlier yesterday. Take a look at this. It's the first team revealed to be going after Corey Perry in the next little while. Expect the Edmonton Oilers GM Ken Holland to explore Corey Perry's availability. Matheson says, with Perry's contract in Chicago terminated for unacceptable conduct in the workplace, we can assume Ken Holland is checking in on the forward. Now, before we even read past that, can we just acknowledge how dumb that sentence sounds? Like, it's not wrong, it's not factually incorrect, but the way it's phrased, it makes it seem as if Ken Holland is going out there and looking at Corey Perry because he was terminated for unacceptable conduct in the workplace. It seems like a causation type of thing from this sentence alone. Of course, I think most of the people who watch these videos are smart enough to understand the difference. Hey, it's not because Corey Perry was terminated for unacceptable workplace conduct that Ken Holland is looking at him, but it's because Corey Perry is a free agent. He was terminated and he's not there anymore. Let's go into the article and read what it has to say. By the way, link is going to be in the description if you want to read this yourself. Wouldn't it be ironic if Corey Perry became an Edmonton Oilers winger 20 years after he wasn't in that Mike Comrie trade to Anaheim that fell apart over money compensation involving Comrie, with Perry, the 2003 Ducks first-round pick, and the Ducks 2004 first-round pick going the Oilers' way? Okay, talk about an Easter egg to start out the article there. My goodness, what a long freaking sentence that was, and what a blast to the past that is too. With Perry's contract in Chicago terminated for unacceptable conduct in the workplace, we can probably assume the Oilers' current GM, Ken Holland. I like how it says current GM and not GM. It's like, oh yeah, it's a current one because he might not be here by the time next week rolls around. Yeah, okay, I'm kind of done making the jokes for now. We can probably assume the current Oilers GM Ken Holland is checking in on the forward, as would other teams like Florida and Colorado who need role player help. If Ken Holland went out on a limb and hit a home run by signing forward Evander Kane, who had lots of off-ice baggage, he likely wouldn't be averse to talking to Pat Morris, Corey Perry's agent and direct line to his 196 playoff games and 124 playoff points. Holland will have to wait for Perry's substance abuse situation to clear, and he'll certainly have to investigate fully what Perry did to have his contract terminated in Chicago. But if Ken Holland doesn't feel it's a serious impediment, Holland would be all in on the borderline Hall of Famer, even if he turns 39 in May. Age is no red flag for Holland, who traded for a 38-year-old Duncan Keith. Now, there's a little bit extra in the article that we could read as well, but I wanted to dive into just the idea first and foremost. Corey Perry heading over to the Edmonton Oilers of all teams would actually make a bit more sense to me than the other teams would have, mostly because when Corey Perry took his leave of absence, quote-unquote, initially before his contract got terminated and before he was sent on waivers, before the rumors started up too, when Corey Perry was away from the Blackhawks, we had a lot of speculation going around saying that he actually would have been traded to the Oilers. That's why he wasn't with Chicago. Oh, he's involved in a trade. He's going to the Oilers. Particularly, it was Edmonton that everybody was tossing out there as a trade destination. Why was it Edmonton? I'm going to be honest, I have no idea. They needed a goalie, and people just started lumping them into all the other trade rumors that were existing out there. But now that Perry is a free agent, the first team being mentioned as a destination being Edmonton, yeah, that's not really all too surprising, especially with the way Matheson writes it out here in this post. How the Oilers need themselves more physical depth. They need more guys who could get under their opponent's skin, and with the aspect of Ken Holland taking a shot at Evander Kane, signing that guy, giving him an opportunity, and actually having it work out, Corey Perry could be in that similar mold. Now, what Corey Perry looks like playing in the Edmonton Oilers system, I really have no idea. Do you want to slot this guy on the power play? I mean, that's where he excelled in Montreal. He was the best power play guy on that team pretty much when they went to the finals. Do you do that with McDavid and Draisaitl? What's the deal here with Perry everywhere else in the lineup? Is this a guy you could play in the bottom of your line and feel pretty confident in? Or do you want to give him a scoring role? He was brought into Chicago initially to protect Bedard and give some guidance, and to be fair, they kind of did that. We did see some practice videos of Bedard and Perry practicing together, giving a few shots and passing to each other, stuff like that. So there may have been some sort of a mentor leadership role there. But there isn't really anybody in Edmonton that you need to mentor. Connor McDavid is 26 years old now, so there isn't really that necessity in that respect. As for the other teams that are involved here, I mean, the Florida Panthers were already involved in Patrick Kane, but they were not able to get that done. Detroit ended up signing him instead. And the Colorado Avalanche, I mean, if you want to talk about the Avs needing more of a snarly type of forward on their squad, that could bode really well with the energy of other guys like Nathan MacKinnon and others. Also, you have to think about the power plays in Colorado too. I mean, do you want to put Perry in that top spot? I mean, it's not like he's totally a bomb at 5-on-5, Corey Perry is, but a good chunk of power play production does make up the profile as to what he brings, and that is important, so you have to acknowledge you're going to have to give this guy a role. Do you move him to the second unit? Do you move other players on your first unit around? Same question could be asked of the Florida Panthers too. There are just so many extra things that you would have to consider when signing a guy like Corey Perry of this magnitude, also with the baggage that he brings, because certainly this is not a clean as a whistle type of profile coming over to your team. As the article said, you're gonna have to do some research. Make sure that what you're getting is an actually profitable personality as well as a hockey player that is not going to cause any problems, so that a situation like what happened in Chicago does not happen again. The Oilers badly need a pain-in-the-butt forward and a second-unit power play guy, especially in the postseason. Perry's 196 playoff games are 24th all-time, tied with Steve Yzerman, this article writes. He's a guy you hate to play the game against, but you love to have on your team. That's how we hope it'll play out, said Hawks GM Kyle Davidson when he traded a 7th-round draft pick for Perry's UFA rights in June. It only played out for 16 games. So if you are an Edmonton Oilers fan, a Colorado Avalanche fan, or a Florida Panthers fan, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about the idea of your team signing Corey Perry? Do you need this guy? Is this really a necessary type of profile to add to your squad? And if it is Perry the one to get that done? Would you rather go with somebody else? Rather make a trade? Rather look elsewhere for that type of a need? Not because Corey Perry doesn't fill it, but because you just don't want Corey Perry on your team in the first place. I mean, with everything that went down, the investigation, the allegations, the situation that actually did happen, how do you feel about going out there, doing your research, doing the due diligence, and depending on what your GMs feel, signing Corey Perry afterwards? Would you rather your teams just stay away? Would you rather them actually sign him because he is a good player? I've been saying this the entire time, man. He's too good to go unsigned for the rest of the year. Somebody's going to give him a contract. The only question is who's going to do it. Based off of all the speculation, though, it appears that Edmonton may be one of the front-runners, especially considering the rumors that were there a few weeks ago when he was away from the Blackhawks. But either way, Oilers fans, Colorado fans, Panthers fans, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about signing Corey Perry. What do you think the dollar amount is for this guy? He was making a pretty significant and beefy amount with Chicago, but as we had said, the dollar amount was honestly kind of worth it for the production he provided. It's just now, I mean, you're not going to sign him for $4 million, you're not going to sign him for a good, healthy dollar amount. I don't think he's got that right anymore, considering what happened in Chicago, but let me know your thoughts either way in the comment section below. How do you feel about the idea of a Corey Perry signing? I hope you enjoyed this video. 99, and bye.